You're listening to 17 Carat K-Pop, the show that's a little bit of everything with a K-pop twist. Visit 17caratkpop.weebly.com for more information about the show. That's 17caratkpop.weebly.com. Enjoy the show! Hello everybody, and welcome back to 17 Carat K-Pop. Very, very excited that Semicolon, the new album from 17, is finally out, along with the music video for Home Run, so it's time for another 17 dedicated episode of the show. I will get to a bunch of news updates regarding the world of K-pop in a future episode, but this week it's all about 17 and then Luna's new album. So the Luna episode is coming, but first, here is the 17 episode of the show. We're going to reflect on all that 17 has released throughout 2020 and just enjoy and appreciate the fact that they've released so much content this year. Also, I've got all these Easter eggs and theories I have about the new album and the new music video that I want to share. All sorts of lyric parallels I've noticed, connecting songs from different 17 eras and continuing certain story elements I want to talk about. I also have 17 different things, a list of 17 things to take note of. So I summed up my thoughts about what to take away and what little hints and details to pay attention to in the new video and the new lyrics and the new album overall. We've also got to review and recap track by track this new album and the lyrics and their meaning. So much to get to, so let's just dive right in with the list of 17 noteworthy things about the new 17 album and music video. Number one, I have to say the diamond symbolism. Not just symbolism, but literally the little diamond that they were all searching for in this big heist story in the Home Run music video. And also the diamonds are part of their logo and their light sticks and everything. And so I love that they keep that theme alive, especially, it's just it was only a matter of time really before this group had a song called Home Run, because the baseball diamond, the parallels for the baseball diamond to the whole concept of singing about stepping into the diamond life. I mean, it was just, all the elements were there. This was definitely a long time in the making. And also, I hope other people noticed as well the forever diamond sign that was behind them during a dance sequence. So that just further adds to the whole, diamonds are a big deal for the Carats is what I'm rambling about. And so I love that they have maintained that symbol. Number two has got to be that the trend continues between parallels that I've noticed between songs from different eras and sometimes from similar eras, but back-to-back songs seem to be in partners with themes or just in terms of the lyrics, but they reflect each other in unique ways, and so I'll get into what I mean more in a little bit. Number three, I have to say, is SQ's role in all of this. That is definitely something to take note of. Remember, SQ's character is the one who was driving in that car that crashed in the left and right video at the end. And then at the beginning of this Home Run video, SQ is driving the car again, and it crashes into a brick wall this time. And then he steps out of the car, and the video starts out with the baseball falling down from the sky and hitting him on the head. Then when the baseball hits the ground, it breaks in half and the diamond is revealed to have been inside of it. What's notable about that moment is not just the fact that the car from the left and right video is back, but also the fact that SQ fell to the floor, because in the 24-hour music video, the song for the song 24 Hours, he falls over, and that's where the video ends, where SQ has fallen to the ground, and now he starts the Home Run video in the first scene with falling down too, and I just feel like that was an intentional continuation of a theme here with his character. He was just kind of like an off-to-the-side character who had a prominent role in the Home Run story, and so I feel like his character really being a protagonist is a big thing to keep in mind, and then the fact that SQ is also a main standout character in this cinematic story they're telling just feels very intentional and noteworthy. So one, SQ's character is major because of the car that is back from a previous video. Two, it's the continuation of the storyline where he keeps falling to the ground again. Three, he plays off of other 17 members as one of the standout characters in whatever cinematic story they're telling. And four is that he, in the Home Run video, he turns out to, so when SQ falls down in the Home Run video, then suddenly the camera zooms out and you see that they're watching what's happening on a TV screen. So the other members who are at the bar watching this little TV screen, they're watching SQ get hit with the baseball and fall down, like it's part of the newscast. And so that zoomed out effect, just stay with me here, maybe reaching here, but that's what I do, I reach. That reminded me of the box type setting that he was in the 24-hour video, because Esku's character is like similarly kind of like trapped or like in this other realm, I guess, or just like in this square thing, like boxed away from the others. I know it sounds like a weird link, but you never know if there's a continuation of that theme here that could symbolize something more. The fact that Esku, you zoom out in the 24-hour video and he's in this box separated from the others, and now in the home run video he's also separated from them. He's just someone they're seeing on another square box. Just something to think about. Lastly, Esku's character, you can tell, is a major part of the story because he got one of the special cards in the teaser video for Home Run. There were 3 cards: Work Hard, Play Hard, and Rest Hard, and Esku got the card that said Rest Hard, which I felt like was a really sweet gesture, referencing his temporary break from the group due to anxiety and the fact that the members really supported him in his openness during that time. And so I really appreciate that they are continuing to indicate that they still look out for him and care for him even when he's not there. And lastly, Esku's character, you can tell, is big here because he is in the driver's seat, literally, and then the other members surround him in one of the teaser pictures for this era. The other members were surrounding him and holding up their wine glasses as if they're, like, toasting to him. So all of this is just to say, keep your eye on Esku for future plots in music videos. I feel like he's majorly instrumental in keeping the story going forward. Number 4, the fact that this new chapter for 17 ties up a lot of loose ends as well from the last chapter from January. It's kind of a full circle moment because the year started with the O2 World Tour, which did actually get a few dates in before everything hit the fan and COVID happened in the USA. But anyway, so in the O2 tour that did happen in January, the VCR clips that played during the show showed that the storyline was being introduced to us back then of all of the passing of the letter to each other and trying to convey this message through a handwritten letter. And now that symbolism is back for the home run teasers, it just feels full circle, not just because of the letters, but because of the plot, of how it basically picked up where that left off. It just feels like the timing of it was very well done. Number 5, the car is the same, not just from left and right, but remember that car also looks like the one from the Clap music video, so there are more throwbacks to earlier releases, not just the latest comeback. And going off of that, number 6, remember the settings here are reminiscent of some other past music video settings, like in Pretty You, there's the bowling alley scene, and now we've got that again. Number 7, this scene has all those fireworks and the rooftop setting that they're dancing on. That is just like in the Oh My music video when they were looking at the fireworks and they were on that rooftop after going through like an attic or a trapdoor or whatever that was. Then there's the pool table scene in this video that is a lot like the scene in the Call 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 video. So a lot of settings are coming back around. Then there are the signs, the literal signs in the background. One read, that was in the background as much, read since May 26th, 2015, which is their debut date. So the fact that like the marquee outside the theater they were dancing and said since May 26th, 2015, I thought was really cute. As well as, of course, the Forever Diamond sign that they danced in front of on that rooftop that looked a lot like the setting where they had the Oh My music video. Next up on my list to discuss, those panels of light. So there's some fluorescent lighting on through these square ceiling panels that they are dancing below in this one scene. I believe it was in the bowling alley. It was some indoor scene they were dancing in. Anyway, so those light panels in that moment above their heads, so maybe not in the whole room, but like the area that the camera catches that you can see 14 different light panels, 14 different ceiling panels that have the fluorescent lighting as a part of them. That just made me think, I know I'm reaching here, but that's what I always do, that there was one panel for each of the 13 members, and then the last panel was there to represent the carrots and how we're like the 14th panel. Just something to think about. The fact that there were 14 panels feels like it might have been more than just a coincidence. Next on my list, I was right about the semicolon symbolism, and I'm very happy about that. So they confirmed in the official press conference for this album release that they are calling this album semicolon because it is meant to indicate that pause, that break between thoughts. More so even, they didn't add on this part, but this is why I speculated about the meaning of the semicolon for them, is because more so than like a colon, which is used to separate a lot more distinguished parts of a sentence that could have been maybe two sentences, whereas a semicolon is a way that joins things also that could have been two sentences, but in a way that is more of a pause than a complete stop in thought. It's a continuous thought, but it's still getting like a little pause. That's the main difference. And so anyway, so the semicolon really embodies the ethos of 17. Work hard and play hard and rest hard, and that's life. And those were words that were on the screen for this video. Work hard, play hard, rest hard, take a break, there's a long journey ahead of you. And that is the ultimate message of Home Run and the whole album is take this semicolon pause, allow yourself to take this break to slow down. And Vernon said as much, saying in the press conference, quote, "Semicolon is a symbol you use when you interrupt a sentence and then you keep going. The album is a message for young people who are working very hard, sometimes struggling, and that it's okay to take a break." He also said, quote, "Just like the semicolon is used to mark a resting place in a sentence, this album will give listeners the chance to breathe," which I absolutely agree with. This album was a breath of fresh air that just made my week start out so much better and was a great little escape to just pause and realize that I could stop rushing to just get to work right away Monday morning and just really ease myself into the day and feel okay doing that and letting myself enjoy something. Next, the goals of this album are notable. Really, aside from just being a special pause, if we need that to be what this album represents, this album is also just a way to feel comfort, and they really want us to, they said in the press conference, take solace in this music and just enjoy the escape, and they really want us to also know it embodies this sense of youthfulness. And Mingyu said, quote, "Recently I've been thinking about the strength that music can lend people and about how 17's energy and influence has become larger. I want to spread positive energy throughout our own influential energy, and I hope that this album will become a precious memory for this generation of youth. Even after the passage of time, I hope this album's scent of youth remains strong." Which is a really great way to put how I think a lot of artists are feeling during 2020 when it's weird and hard to know how to talk to fans, how to share your music with them, and ways to just keep that bond and just provide the music to them that they always turn to you for. What I really like about Mingyu's comments are two things. One is just that I really respect 17 and the fact that that is their message, that they do want to make listeners have that escape through their music and their videos and all of the fun and comfort they provide through that. But the second thing is also because here's your little preview of what to expect on Monday's episode. So I have a new interview dropping, and this person who I interviewed was talking about a similar thing where how there was this collective sense of uncertainty among songwriters and producers and artists early in 2020. Like, is it insensitive to release happy music right now? When is a good time to release this? The future was so uncertain, and it just felt very weird, and it was also an uninspiring time to try to make music because you couldn't go out and just live new experiences that you could then write about. But then there seems to have been this pivot, which is part of the conversation you'll hear release Monday, is that there seems to be this pivot now where all these artists are suddenly very feeling creative again, or just very motivated to get back out there and realized how much they loved what they were doing and really want to put out happy music to cheer people up and keep us going after all of these months of still dealing with this life in a pandemic. And so that's just those are the comments I was thinking about, as well as when just lately, as well as when reading Mingyu's comments, is just that 17 is trying to do what I think a lot of artists are doing right now that I really respect, which is just realizing we need to let loose. We need to have that escape more than ever, and it is beyond okay to release music right now. We don't need to apologize for trying to have fun. We deserve to try to find our joy wherever that may be. Number 13. This song, Home Run, sounds a lot like, and I promise you, I don't mean to say this in a way that is negative or an insult, because I really love Home Run by 17, and I personally like it more than what I'm about to compare it to, but just please stay with me here. A lot of people are probably going to be mad that I think it sounds like this, but here we go anyway. This Home Run by 17, the instrumental at least, gives me a lot of the same vibes as Fever by J.Y. Park. And I mean that in a good way though, but it just sounds a little similar to me. I'm just saying, and I think that just taps into the fact that all these like kind of disco tinged vibes, if not full out disco pop vibes, and just the old school retro sound and outfits that J.Y. Park is known for and released with Fever, and even When We Disco, his earlier release this, or his more recent release this year, and other songs as well. It just seems like 17 is really adding to this moment where those retro vibes are so popular, because we all need, like I said, that escapism, that sense of cultural nostalgia that we're just reveling in while we wait for new content and while we just try to live like it's the pre-2020 times. And this is one of the things I've always found so impressive about 17, is that they really have a knack for tapping into the overall vibe of a moment. So their music always sounds right on time. They just have this intuition of what we need to hear as an audience for the moment, and they are receptive to that, which is, I think, largely thanks to the fact that they make their own music and they're so hands-on with it. And so the lived experiences of the public are the lived experiences that they then convey for us through music, which is such a special gift that they do that in a way that resonates, because they are basically being the outlet for us, for our feelings and emotions. Number 14 of the list of noteworthy things to keep in mind from this album, as we talked about on a previous episode, there is this sociologist, Simon Firth. This scholar wrote this iconic work called Music for Pleasure back in the 80s, and he talked about different typologies of video content, as well as a bunch of other stuff having to do with music for pleasure, as the title of the book suggests. But anyway, so I was thinking about what Simon Firth has written about as I was reflecting on this new 17 release, and what he said about how music videos, if we want to be super broad about it, you can throw them into one of three categories. But often, I mean, not often, but sometimes the lines can be blurred, but for the most part, you can distinguish videos based on three types of music videos. Performance, which is just when an artist is like singing or playing their instrument. Narrative, which tells a story through the video. And conceptual, which is more symbolic and still kind of tells a story, but also leans heavily on metaphor and inference, as opposed to just this overt movie watching experience. 17 really impresses me with their video content for always blurring those lines. They have those performance videos that give you that intimate feeling like in Smile Flower. They have the narrative videos more that are like Boom Boom and Monse, and they have conceptual works like Fear, but they do blur the lines a lot, and I feel like, once again, Home Run is an example of when they've done that, where they have the performance elements of it where, as DK said in the press conference, they want their shows to feel like you're at a live musical, and they definitely have that musical feel to them in a great way. And so that live theater feel of their dance performances is the overall, what Simon Firth argues is the appeal and reason why artists release videos where they're just sitting or dancing in front of the camera. It's to give you that feeling like you're getting a front row seat to their show. And that's what 17 can do with their video. And so the performance aspects were there with this comeback, but then the narrative, of course, with the jewel thief and the train, the high-speed train chase and all of that, that was part of this comeback. That's, of course, the narrative plot there. But then in addition to that, there's the conceptual symbolism with the diamond and the different roles characters have and all of those elements that I will talk again more about a little later on in this episode and that I've talked about before. But all to say that 17 continues to just show why, music video-wise, they are so impressive to me. And there are the psychological reasons to back that up. Number 15 is the cinema of it all. I gave that its own place on the list because it really is like watching a movie, watching their videos, and I just have so many special memories over the years of being a 17 fan, of like having just a really tough day, but then, you know, just I turn off all the lights and I just watch a 17 video, and it's like I'm at the movie theaters and I'm having such a cool, fun, immersive escape, and I just will forever be grateful for that. Number 16 is how 17 has remained true to themselves on this album, yet they also show their maturity. Their evolution appears so natural and not forced, because it is, and they are so hands-on with their work. So Soonguan said in the conference that he used to measure success of 17 based on quantitative things, like how many seats they sold for a concert or what their chart ranking was. But now he says he really measures success in a more qualitative way based on how fans respond and feel to their music. And so that observation, it just shows that these members of 17 are quite introspective, and they do keep in mind their impact, and they don't take that responsibility lightly of their platform and how many people they reach. DK similarly said, quote, "We have more responsibility about our performances now." And Woozi said, quote, "The more we get to participate in the album, the more we got to contemplate on what kind of voice we could make. I think the core message of the album comes out naturally, as it's also what we've been thinking of as the youth of this generation." So they realize their megaphone that they have here, and they are not letting it go to waste. They are being there for us, and I really appreciate that and admire the fact that they are showing through what they say at these press conferences their maturity and just how they've started to think differently about their role as celebrities in a mature way. And lastly, Woozi gave this release his all. His fingerprints were all over this release, and Hoshi said during the press conference his admiration for Woozi grew more than ever through making this new album, saying, quote, "When I look at Woozi composing everything from the title track to the remaining track to tracks that haven't been released yet, I think of him as the group's engine." So first of all, yeah, Woozi is like a main force that powers this group forward, and I really think he's like a core engine of 17. And second of all, I intentionally said louder and emphasized the part where he said from the title track to the remaining tracks to the tracks that haven't been released yet. So they've been making a lot of music that isn't even out yet, it sounds like. That's basically what Hoshi said. I don't know if he meant to reveal that, but that's what he said. He said he's seen Woozi in action this year making music from the songs we've heard to the songs we haven't heard that apparently are done. I'm so curious, and I would be mad, but I can never be mad at them. So I'm just gonna impatiently wait for those songs to drop. 17 things to keep an eye out for and look at if you rewatch the videos and look up the lyrics and just overall invest yourself more in this comeback as I have. 1, the continued diamond symbolism. 2, the parallels from this song and past songs lyric-wise, thematically. I will get into that later. 3, SQ's role. 4, the fact that this ties up a lot of loose ends from January. 5, the car that keeps being used in these videos. 6, the bowling alley. 7, the firework display. 8, the rooftop scene and the fact that they go back to that rooftop like they did in a previous video. 9, the call video also had that pool table set. 10, the light panels, there were 14 of them, which felt significant. 11, the fact that there were literal signs. Read the literal signs in this video, like their debut date and the Forever Diamond sign. The symbolism of the semicolon, why they called this album that. The overall goals of this album and how it embodies this sense of youth. The retro vibes they've invoked through this comeback. The psychological/sociological aspects of 17 music videos continue to be superior. The fact that 17 have remained true to themselves and yet continue to mature and evolve. The cinema of it all. And Woozi really getting hands-on with this work more than ever. After the break, we will get to what I teased before about previous 17 releases connecting to the lyrics and other content from this new album. My reading recommendation of the day comes from Ashley C. Ford. One of the most prominent voices of her generation debuts with an extraordinarily powerful memoir, the story of a childhood defined by the ever-looming absence of her incarcerated father and the path we must take to both honor and overcome our origins. This new memoir is called Somebody's Daughter by Ashley C. Ford. Please order it wherever books are sold today. Here is your track-by-track guide to the new album from 17, and then we will get into the parallels I've noticed between the themes and symbols in this new album and past releases. So Home Run is a song all about the fact that the album's called Semicolon, about taking a break and pausing, yet at the same time, ironically, the music video is like a high-speed train chase / jewel heist situation. The lyrics that I really like are, My Life is a Home Run, and today, tomorrow, the day after, Let's Keep Partying On. There may be no end to our journey of dreams, so let's take a break for today. All about how they feel like work hard, play hard is their mentality that they continue to have. Light a Flame by Jun Hoshi, Wanwoo, and Woozi. It has a lot of Latin music vibes, and it is also, what is noteworthy is the first time I heard it, this song, out of all the others on the album, this one I thought of this the most when listening to DK's comments about how they want their shows to feel like a live musical performance. I feel like Light a Flame is the one that instantly brought to mind in my head how it would look being sung live, and the cool dance or other things that would happen, other visual aspects of the performance that would happen for Light a Flame. So I already started fantasizing about seeing this in concert someday, so well done. And my favorite lyrics to keep note of, for the sake of just the story, and we'll talk about it in the later, is key lyrics to keep in mind are, first of all, quote, "We look at this light as we search for one another, our shadows meet to become one." Second, like the clock's hand, I want to keep going at a constant rate. So again, that theme of figuring out how to time yourself and slow down and don't worry about, going full steam ahead all the time. Work hard and play hard. The song Ah Love is from Joshua SQ and Junhyun, and it starts with "I'm ready for you." Those are the first lyrics from it. So it's right off the bat just a very fun go-getter love song, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. And some quotes to keep in mind from the song: "I think every morning about what I should show for you to think about me." For how to be memorable, really, is what the song is all about. And we will get back to this one for sure to talk about parallels. I think you already know, if you're a longtime Carat, what song this reminds me of. Hey Buddy is a song from DK, Mingyu, and the 8. It reminds me a lot of Stray Kids Get Cool and Stray Kids Awkward Silence. The songs that have that lyric theme about, like, things are going so bad, like listing off little things that just prove that today is not your day, like you hit the red light and you can't find your charger, whatever it is, like all those little things that sometimes some days they just all happen, all of the little inconveniences, and they add up to make you feel like, what a day. And those songs from Stray Kids that I mentioned had that same theme of just like, we can find a way to turn this around and still have a good day. Like, bad things are happening, but we could still find bright spots in this day and things to cheer up about. And that seems to be what this 17 song is about too. They also compare the relationship together, their friendship, to an eternal flame, which I thought was cool continuity with the song Light a Flame. And my favorite lyric from Hey Buddy is "Wear your sneakers with wings," because that just seems like a perfect thing to live by. It's a great mantra. Wear your sneakers with wings. It just sums up so much about, it's a mood, and I really just think that is a great anthem for the youth. Wear your sneakers with wings. It just sums up so much to me. Do Re Mi is a song from Soonguan, Vernon, and Dino, and it's the perfect example to me of the kind of song that is artfully using auto-tune and using these digitized vocals to tell the song, to tell the story of the song and everything, because as I've ranted quite a bit about before on the show, I think that sometimes like auto-tune vocals in a song people think are just so annoying, but I view it as its like own instrument to do that to your voice. It can be so impressively and artfully and done in a catchy way, not an annoying way, and this is a time where I think 17 nailed that, and I love those types of songs with those types of electronic vibes, and so this song is one of my personal favorites from this release. The lyrics have that same theme about, slow down, you can mull over this later. My favorite lyric is "I support your feelings," and I also like "slowly write down tomorrow." Just great validators about, we can handle this, it's easy as 1, 2, 3, do, re, mi is kind of the message of the song, and just, just keep going, just like you'd keep playing the keyboard or playing the piano or whatever, and like do, re, mi, you know how this goes, and just get started with that first step is kind of the message of the song. I also like the lyric, "Thinking that something's difficult makes it difficult," because it's true that if you keep thinking this is so hard, of course you're going to still think it's so hard. If you keep thinking about something a certain way, it is helpful to work on changing your mindset. I know that's so much easier said than done, but it's still worth trying, and it's something I've actively worked on for years, is just looking on the bright side and trying to find a way to find the sunshine within a dark moment, and I like that lyric a lot. Thinking that something's difficult will make it more difficult. The key lyric for the sake of my theories will be, so keep this in mind, illusions that are plastered around pretending to be real. You define the world. All My Love is a song on this album sung by all of the members, not a unit song. My favorite lyric from that is Let Me Forget Everything for a Moment, because that just kind of sums up, it's a mood, and again, it sums up what I love about their music and the escape it brings. And also, I like the lyric, I make a wish for you tomorrow, and any winter it will be your spring. That is the most noteworthy one for my theory's sake, so keep that in mind. Any winter, it will be your spring. Lastly, the home run video. The best way I can sum it up, because I don't want to give everything away, is that it starts with that car scene. There's this food fight scene, there's the pool table, the diamond gets thrown around between members, and I have a lot of theories about why it went to which member when, but I will go into those in a future episode to see if the story has more to it. But anyway, the diamond gets thrown in a bunch of different hands as people look for it. There's also this scene where two of the members are like in a train compartment in disguises, hiding from two other members who are searching for the diamond, looking into different train compartments trying to find the suspects, but they somehow overlook the train compartment where those members in disguise are waiting and hiding out. Anyway, so it's a lot of just fun hijinks in this video. And at the end, I guess I will spoil a little bit, is just that there's clearly a baseball bat involved, breaking some glass to get to the diamond, and the ultimate ending you'll have to watch for yourself to see. But there's a lot to it. There's a lot of action packed into just a few minutes with this video. And throughout the video, it's riddled with all of these little Easter eggs that I didn't even get to include in my list of 17 things to take note of. There's the fact they have their catchphrase 17 right here. I love when they say that. In the video, they also have this moment where Vernon holds up a card that is the 7 of diamonds. So with the 7 and the diamonds, I think both of those, I mean, clearly that was the card he had to hold up, I feel like. There's the moment, it's not really an Easter egg, but just a cool moment where the 8 looks like he's in some black and white video, riding down the street. There is so much there, and that's why it's so much fun to rewatch, like all of their videos. So that is the album Home Run, Light a Flame, Ah Love, Hey Buddy, Do Re Mi, All My Love, and Home Run. So the parallels now. Let's get into this. We've talked about a couple of these before, how songs seem to be referencing past songs, sometimes more directly than others. We talked about 2 examples before, one being that the songs Home and Getting Closer, I think, are the same story, but they're told from different perspectives, whether it be in a friendship or a relationship romantically, whatever it is, there's different perspectives of the same situation, the same relationship being talked about in Home and Getting Closer in those songs. And then the other thing we talked about before is the connections between the songs Fear and Fearless. So in Fear, the lyrics go, nothing lasts forever, knowing that I still cannot end it. And then in Fearless, the lyric is nothing lasts forever, knowing that I can end it. So let's go off of that and talk about some other new connections I've noticed by really getting into this new album. First of all, their very first song, Adore You, as well as the follow-up song, Monse, really had that young schoolboy charm to them, talking about a crush and getting jitters around them and being uncomfortable knowing what to say, wishing that you could find the words to reveal your crush. Like in Monse, there are lyrics like, my head is filled with things I want to say, can someone say them for me? And then the song, I Love, which you probably already guessed when I hinted at it earlier, is the song that I think parallels the older songs, which I think is a cool character growth for them, because Adore You and Monse had the characters being like so nervous to confess to a crush their love for them, and then I Love literally is when they say I love you. For like, I don't know if they've ever said it so clearly in a song before, and it's just a very cool evolution, I think. And it starts right off the bat with the first lyrics being I'm ready for you, and the lyrics like thinking about how they can find ways to stay in your head during the day. It's just a really fun throwback and evolution of their characters. The left and right parallels to Boom Boom we talked about before, maybe where in the song Boom Boom they have the lyric turn right and turn left around you, left and right. Just a thought. Again, I'm reaching, but that's what I do. There are also a lot of references to dreams. In Monse, that was referenced a lot. In My, there was the lyric, row your dreams beyond the lines. And now in Do Re Mi, there's that key lyric, break the illusions that are plastered around pretending to be real. They reference a lot of this sense of what's real and what's just a dream, what's imagined versus what's real, illusion versus reality. And we talked about this a lot in the House of Cards episode. It's called House of Cards, with cards with a K. So if you want to hear more about these theories about how illusions are referred to and described in K-pop songs, that is the episode for you. The flame aspect is back. So in Light of Flame, they have that lyric, we look at this light as we search for one another and our shadows meet. And Hey Buddy compares the relationship to an eternal flame. I feel like that's a fun continuation of that theme. There's the don't sweat the small stuff mentality that was also present in the Clap lyrics and now is the embodiment of this whole album. There's the song Getting Closer. Getting Closer has this repeated lyric that goes, where are my friends? That's a repeated lyric in Getting Closer. And now there's a song called Hey Buddy that they have out. I just feel like that's a really cute connection. Where are my friends to Hey Buddy? That is growth. There are a lot of references to the pace of life that they've made in the past as well. In Getting Closer, there are lyrics like, it's a mess, I'm still in the same spot, and a lot of references to feeling paralyzed and stuck in your life. 24 hours is when the members actually form a clock with their choreography and their positioning in the video, and 24 hours has lyrics about the passage of time naturally. Light of Flame, like I said before, has those lyrics, like the clock's hand, I want to keep going in life at a constant rate. My had those lyrics saying nothing's set in stone, nothing's too fast or too slow, and also no need to rush, you're doing fine. And now with this new song, Hey Buddy, they have those same kind of lyrics about, don't worry, don't sweat these small stuff. You've got this. And take your time and you've got this. Don't feel like you need to rush. It's okay. Then there is the breaking the wall concept. Another stretch, but just let me have this guess. So in Fearless, there is a lyric, new day, new me, break this wall. That's part of the lyrics to Fearless. New day, new me, break this wall. And the home run video starts with them literally breaking a wall. I mean, come on. Sometimes symbols maybe are just right in our faces and we don't realize. So I'm just gonna guess that was intentional. And there are references to a spring day and flowers and blooming and things like that over time. In Smile Flower, that's naturally thematically applicable, as well as the quote from that song that I really like, I'll be the spring to your smile is the lyric. I'll bring the spring to your smile. Falling Flowers, of course, a song like that has them actually having falling flowers that are a bit wilted, taped to their faces as part of the makeup look in the Falling Flower video. Falling Flower has that lyric, between the time when the flowers bloom and scatter, scars heal and sprouts emerge again. All about that spring day, that new awakening is a big theme throughout their music. Similarly, in My, they sing, every day I open my eyes and I find something new and blossom into a new me. And the blossom wording I feel like was very intentional. And then lastly, with this new song, All My Love, they say, quote, any winter will be your spring. And lastly, the fact that they are always validating our feelings, which I really appreciate. In the Hug song, the lyrics go, I miss you, you've worked hard, I trust you. And in Do Re Mi, it similarly goes, slow down, I support your feelings. Those types of lyrics are very naturally comforting, like a hug. And so, to sum it up, those were 13 main lyric parallels to keep in mind from past eras and from the new releases. Those continued themes include the following 13. Home and Getting Closer are like partner songs with talking about the same situation from different perspectives. Fear and Fearless have a funny lyric switch to keep in mind. There are references to jitters around a crush and then suddenly feeling more open to embracing a relationship and falling in love. Number 4, there's the left and right reference. 5, the references to dreams and illusions. 6, references to a flame. 7, that don't sweat the small stuff mentality. 8, the where's my friend? It went from that to a song called Hey Buddy. 9, references to the passage of time and trying to figure out what pace to go in life. 10, references to breaking a wall, whether it's literal or just lyrical. 11, that concept of a spring awakening, a new spring day after a long winter, and flowers and blossoming and all of that, being reborn. 12, messages that validate listeners' feelings and emotions. And lastly, the fact that they keep using their catchphrase 17 right here. Those are 13 main aspects of 17 lyrics that are very noteworthy and appreciated. Here is the list with items in no particular order of things to appreciate that we've gotten from 17 this year and other big accomplishments. They released their Japanese EP for Falling Flower that sold over 200,000 copies in its first week and surpassed 450,000 pre-orders. They released the Hengare EP and the Left and Right music video to go with it. Hengare was number 1 on iTunes in 27 regions around the world, and 1 million album copies were sold in just 5 days. Over 500,000 had been sold in just 2 days. The 8 released his Falling Down single and dance practice video. Sungwon released a new OST for Go. Joshua and DK released a collaboration with Pink Sweats, notably called 17. 24 Hours, the Japanese single from 17, went platinum in Japan and topped the United World Albums chart. They released Semicolon, of course, this new album with the Home Run music video. They started out on their O2 World Tour that they were at least partially able to complete in North America. They released the Hit the Road docu-series that followed the O2 World Tour, as well as gave us an inside look at their time in the studio and things like that. And also they had a special little Easter egg within the show where the episode titles in Korean rearranged spell out a similar sentiment to "I'll be by your side if you walk past the end of the road again, I will see you eventually, like we will meet again someday," kind of a message, which was hidden within the song titles or the episode titles if you re-scrambled them. They also had a virtual fan meeting and have had several digital album signing events just to keep in touch with Carats and other live stream events. The Caratland virtual fan meeting was not going to be able to be put on because the staff to meet the COVID safety protocols would have to be under 50 people. So instead of canceling the show, 17 just took it upon themselves to join the production staff to keep the amount of staff to the minimum in well below 50 people. So 17 members are actually in the credits for the fan meeting as production staff because they worked on the show just to make sure it could be pulled off. They passed 1 billion Spotify streams just a week or two ago. They made the list in 7th place of the most tweeted about 10 K-pop artists of 2020. They surpassed 5 million YouTube subscribers and released a lot of YouTube content this year, not just the docuseries. And then there's the Seoul Hallyu Staycation series on YouTube. They won first place in Malaysia's Top 10 Awards. They guest starred on the show Island. They surpassed 1 million sales for their overall Japanese discography, and they are only the 12th group in history to reach that milestone. And they beat a Backstreet Boys record to become one of the first artists in 12 years to top the Oricon charts 2 weeks in a row. There's probably so much more that I forgot to add to the list, but all to say that they have had such a packed year with so much content for us, and I'm so grateful for that. This new album is already really having a lot of success. Pre-orders surpassed 1.1 million copies, and the Home Run video gained 6.6 million views in its first 24 hours, and along with that, 931,000 likes in the first 24 hours. The Home Run video trended on Twitter in 30 different countries, and on the list of global Twitter trends, it was at number 2 for a while. And there's more to look forward to now. We've got the rest of the press run for this new album, including an appearance on the show Ask Us Anything. They will be performing October 28th at the Korean Popular Culture and Arts Awards, which can be watched via V-Live. And maybe we'll get some fun Halloween costumes again from them this year in some sort of virtual Halloween event that they've done in the past. Just throwing that idea out there. So always more to look forward to from them. So the excitement and the releases that we're getting are not even over for 2020 yet. So thank you, 17, for this album and everything else. I hope this episode helped Carats and non-Carats alike better appreciate this standout group and encourage you to go listen to the new album Semicolon and watch the new video Home Run. And stay tuned for more from them in the future. My next episode will, of course, have to talk about Luna and their new album and story updates and theories and connections and all of that. So I'm going to do a similar episode structure for that. And the Luna dedicated episode next will be out very soon. You can also then catch me again Sunday for a new episode of How to Stan. And then Monday I'll release that surprise interview, which is no longer a surprise, sort of. But anyway, And then next week I'll have another new episode. There's a lot coming on the show, so stay tuned. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you all soon.